My boyfriend is obsessed with football. On the other hand, being pretty good myself, I'm more of a tennis fan. But my obsession is definitely crime documentaries. Those and watching the court hearings of a good murder case. My boyfriend came home one day and told me he had something he wanted to show me. He walked me over to the computer, opened the browser, and began typing. The website that popped up was like the holy grail for crime fanatics. I spent hours each day browsing and taking in all the mind-blowing content. I even found new information on many of the cases I had followed in the past. But one of my favorite videos was the trial of a supposed genius. He was facing charges for the slaughter of his wife. His lawyers argued that the woman had clearly unalived herself, but her family members testified that her husband hypnotized her into doing so. The state was allowed to play a recording. It was of the husband being interviewed as a witness by police in an unrelated case years prior. In a moment of hubris, the husband had alluded to being able to manipulate anyone's mind if around them long enough. But even after hearing that playback in the court, the man continued to appear bored and unfazed. But when his lawyers cross-examined the wife's sister, something switched. Her family's testimonies on the man's character had already been everything but flattering up to that point. But suddenly, his sister-in-law was painting him as a fraud and a scammer. She claimed it was simply his abusive mind games and the stresses they caused that led to their loved one's demise, not any sort of impressive skill or ability. And it was right then that I noticed the man's demeanor change. He had stopped writing on his pad and was now much more alert than ever before. For the first time in this whole ordeal, he appeared to be bothered. Subsequently, the trial had to be delayed 2 days later, after one of the jurors had been shot. The wound later became fatal and was seemingly self-inflicted. The very next day, the presiding judge was partially paralyzed after falling down the courthouse steps. The husband's trial was to be rescheduled. He was given a bail that he immediately paid, and reportedly he went missing right after. The last bits of info in the video were newspaper articles from a few months later. It appeared the state was determined to continue the proceedings whether or not the husband was present. But this time there had to be a change in the lead prosecutor as well. The former one fell out of a window 2 days before the trial resumed. He didn't survive. I guess I'm still waiting for the next update, if one ever comes.